he's got a. All right, let's call to order the April meeting of the Glendale Planning Historic Preservation Commission. Members of the commission will begin as always with the review of the minutes of our last meeting. You all had a chance to review those. What's your pleasure?
I move approval of the perfect minutes.
Perfect minute.
I'll second.
Motion second. Any discussion, members of the commission? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have no old business, so we'll move right into new business. The first request is that of Emily and Andrew Woost. Am I saying that properly? For paver patio. Mr. and Mr. Woost, we've all had an opportunity to review your application materials. You're welcome to tell us as much or as little as you want about it, and we'll take it from there.
Hi, my wife and I moved in about a year and a half ago to 320 East Sharon Road. I'm a teacher, she's a designer. We're very happy to be in Glendale. We wanted a house with character, and I think we got one. We've been doing a lot of upkeep. I know the yard was in kind of disarray, so we've cleaned it up, but now we really want to add something that brings friends and family into Glendale. So that's what we are kind of envisioning for the paver patio in the back, as well as putting a fire pit on top of it. As far as who will be doing it, her father and I have done about 4 of these. Currently, they just built one that was kind of multi-storied at their house in Morrow. They just bought one, and we built one together. So plenty of experience doing it. Want to make sure it gets done right and just adds to the beauty of our house.
Very good. Thank you. Members of the commission, anybody want to see the application materials? Any questions?
I move to approve as submitted.
Motion second. Is there anyone in the audience wishes to address this application? Any discussion, members of the commission? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Welcome to Glendale.
Very nice design.
All right, moving on to our second item on the agenda. It's the request of Jesse Clem for a fence at 1021 Greenville. Mr. Clem? Once again, we've all had a chance to review your materials. We're happy to hear as much or as little as you want to say, and we'll take it from there.
Sorry, the glasses are not cooperating here.
Yeah.
Hope you guys are doing well today. I just ran over. Sorry, I'm a little late. I was dealing with that 5 o'clock traffic from Fairfield Route 4.
Rush hour.
But the main purpose of the fence is we do have a dog who is very loves to be outdoors, and there's no fence that covers that right side. Our neighbors are very close to us, and also the dog doesn't really like them. We don't want the dog to be barking all over the place all day long. That's not what we want. We don't want that for our neighbors or anybody else around. So a privacy fence is what we have asked for, so that our dog remains a little bit on the quieter side and has the freedom to run around and complete that backyard.
So there's fence around the rest of the back
Correct.
area?
It's chain link.
Okay.
The back and the left is chain link. We're hoping for that neighbor right next to us to have the privacy so that there's not as much commotion going on. And it wouldn't be along the full side. It would stop at the back deck, so it wouldn't really be visible if you're driving right by the house, so that back portion wouldn't be finished.
Any other questions, members of the commission?
In your plan, the black and white plan, does that fence go all the way down to the chain link? Does it die into the chain link at the back perfectly?
It will be dying
That's
into
what
that
that is?
chain link.
Okay.
Yep. And we're looking to do vinyl, white vinyl.
Most of us prefer not to have vinyl, just because it's not in keeping, but it is what people want to do because it has little upkeep, and since it's behind
Yeah.
the house, I don't have a real problem, but. Well, we have some people who have vinyl in the
Yeah.
front, but-
And, yeah, it's not historically appropriate, but it has been approved in the district.
Yeah. I'll move to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, motion second. Anyone in the audience wish to address this application? Further discussion, members of the commission? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations.
Thank you.
David, will he need a permit for that, or is the
Yeah,
building
you'll get a
permit?
permit through our office, maybe a week or so. It's a zoning permit, so
Okay.
quick review.
So contact you on?
Yep. Yeah, we'll give you a call.
Okay.
And let you know, hopefully by the end of the week.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Let's move on to our last item. That's the request of Elizabeth Weber for shutter removal at 280 East Sharon. Is Ms. Weber available? You've seen how we operate. We'll let you have the floor first, and we'll take it from there.
Hi, I'm Beth Weber. Sorry to be meeting you in this way for the first time, but I'm thankful to be here. We purchased the property at 280 East Sharon a few months back and have really been working hard on it, to be honest. It needed a lot of love, and we're loving it. So we had someone power wash the exterior. It did not remove the discoloration. We had the exterior repaired and painted completely, intending to replace the shutters back, but the painters were not willing to paint them in the condition that they existed, so they were removed. I had called the town hall and spoke to the person who answers the phone, and everyone is wonderful and helpful. We've had many sewer problems and different things, and we're super pleased with the village's response. Many repairs are well beyond the financial investment we were intending on making, but we're doing it because we're loving where we are.
Could you speak up a little bit?
Sure.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's the alternative,
Yeah.
I guess.
It's
I'm
okay.
sorry. I was saying many of the repairs have been far exceeding what we budgeted to do. We've had
Welcome to Old House.
three, and we've had 3 basement floor complete overhauls because of sewer problems. And ironically, we're water wastewater engineers, so it's not too great to have sewage in your building when you design sewers. So anyhow, that's it. I called the village. They said, they presented me with the coding. They said as long as you were removing something from a historic property, it was okay. You just couldn't replace it with something that wasn't approved. So the shutters didn't go back up. And I personally don't think that the vinyl shutters on the buildings surrounding us do justice to historic buildings. So I didn't really want to approach that, and I don't have the approximate $20,000. I got a quote to have new wood shutters put on the building to look exactly like it was.
Do you still have the shutters that were removed?
I do,
Okay.
because I didn't want to get rid of them.
Yeah,
That's,
and also the shutter dogs, the iron
I have all that
hardware.
as well.
That's good.
I just couldn't put it back up. It wasn't safe. They weren't, they're not structural. There was mold, there was rot, they're broken. They were really crooked.
Well,
and-
thank you for not putting up vinyl.
Well, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I'm not from Ohio. I grew up in New York, but a very small town, and I get it. And one of our most beloved projects is the Baldwin Water Plant in Cleveland, Ohio, which is gorgeous historic structure. So I get that, but I'm sorry that I've offended someone in the town.
well, I can't speak to that. I know I haven't been offended, but we do have rules, and
Yeah.
you can sit. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you
No,
can
you're
sit
fine.
there. I had to replace all the ones in my house. They'd added ones taken away over the years, and it's expensive. We understand that. But I believe this property's always had shutters, and I believe it needs to continue to have shutters. I think 20,000 based on what now, I paid it a few years ago, so it could be there these days. We don't require shutters on the back of the property, correct?
I think we're more flexible on the ones in the back, the windows in the back. It's really the visibility of the frontages, and this is a corner lot, so there's 2 frontages.
So how many shutters did you have quoted?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
6 sets on the front, 8 sets on the side.
Yeah, I mean, there's 4.
I didn't do the whole thing. I mean, I assumed
6 there,
what you're referencing.
and it looks like,
Looks like
2, 3, 4, 5.
6 and
So you'd
6.
have 13 if you just do the 2 ends and you don't do the addition, because isn't there a little addition off the back?
There is.
Right.
Well, I was doing the whole side. I think
Oh,
it would
yeah,
look
I
silly to
see.
have just, I mean, you could correct me.
Well, the,
But, I mean, the addition kind of starts after the side
Yeah.
entryway.
so, but on the west side, you have the 2 windows on top of the 1-story building next to you. And on the eastern side toward the railroad tracks, you have 5 in the doorway, and then you have 6 in the front, so that would be 13.
It looks like
So-
12.
On the side,
I'm assuming.
there's 8 windows on the railroad side.
I was not counting the addition.
Yeah, and the front has 6.
5, 6, 7,
It turns at just a slight angle.
14, 15. So if you did the 2, aren't there 2 above the 1-story old barber shop on the other side?
are you talking around the side?
And I think there's just 1 immediately, but then if there's an office up there, a bathroom, and then there would be 1 on, it's like the back side, like really far back, but yeah.
Okay,
There's 15 or 16, depending. So that would,
yeah.
yeah.
I think what's really important is the street elevations.
The what
The
streets?
street elevations, so that's what's visible from the public right-of-way primarily. And this building's from the 1860s.
Mhm.
And I agree with my colleague that it appears it always had shutters. In fact, we have some historic photos if you would like to see them.
Oh, I took them off. I know there was shutters. Oh, you mean from the past?
That-
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a pre-1900 photo here that you can have.
come up.
Yeah, if you ever, you can go to the Glendale Historic, and they have pictures
Here.
of all sorts of things.
Okay, so in that photo, you can see
So they're
that
only on the front
they're
historically.
closed. Yeah.
No, that's the only one.
Oh, that's the only one we have?
Well, he had 2, but we loaned 1 out.
Oh,
So is this what you would want it replicated, just the front face? Because they're not on the side in this historic photo at all.
that,
think they
the
are.
top photo is from pre-1900. The bottom photo, right, and that was temporary.
Well,
If
that's the
you flip
1970s.
it over. Yeah. If you
Or
flip it
closer in
over.
time.
In the 1970s, there was a short while that there weren't shutters here, and then they were replaced. So they were rehung.
And on this older photograph, the shutters are closed, actually, on this frontage.
Yeah. So,
And the windows also have the hinges, do they not? The
yes,
ones on
they
the-
do.
the west
They
one.
do, and they're Victorian period hinges. I mean, they certainly look original. The pins,
The brackets.
here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I was just saying, they look Victorian to me. It probably, you,
look up the era even to see if you could buy shutters that.
no, it's okay.
Keep the look, and again,
Well, you can buy
we're
anything.
trying really hard.
Yeah, you can buy anything. It's just where you got to look and so on. What, I mean, my recommendation is at minimum, put them on the front. That would be the very minimum I would agree to. And 2 things, look up a company called Timberlane out of.
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
And one of the products they have is a copper ore. You can get a lead cap. And that's the most, because the shutters always get damaged from the top, from
Sure.
the sun and the rain, and it's a little copper piece that fits over the top. And that'll give you a lot more years, because, you know, the wood that these are made out of today is not the same.
Well, you can also get them out of cedar, which is what we did with the Keys house.
Yeah,
And they last a long
yeah.
time.
And you- A little more expensive, though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, it's been a number of years since we did it, but that $20,000 price shocked me, but you know, I haven't priced them in a long time.
yeah, yeah.
What about doing it in phases? In other words, not biting off the 20,000 all at once, but say doing one side, you know, now or in the near future, and then doing the other side later.
She was just suggesting doing it in phases and not doing the whole thing at once, which is an option. I mean, honestly, if I don't know how much time you're all willing to give me. I'm personally not opposed to chiseling off what was up there and trying to repair them and put back what is intended as well, but that's not going to happen soon, and it's not going to look good if I just put up
I don't think
one window at a
what
time.
was
So
there, I don't think salvageable. What I saw, they were pretty much gone. The ones, at least a couple of them were pretty well gone. I mean, you could try it, but I think you'd be wasting your time.
I'm just trying to be very respectful.
We really greatly appreciate that,
Yeah,
truly.
me
I
too.
mean, you're talking to a board of quite a few preservationists and everything, so we greatly respect the attention you're giving it. We truly are. And I can't speak for anyone else, but I know your passion towards it. I can see that. And the history you've done for other buildings. I know you're not trying to skirt this issue.
No, I'm not, and
And
I'm sensitive towards individuals as well.
Correct. And if it can be restored over time, that'd be a blessing more than scrapping it completely and with a financial hardship. Again, I don't know in this case if there's any possibility for petitioning or applying for the Proctor Fund, since because the shutters are in public view, there's a fund in Glendale called the Proctor Fund from Procter & Gamble, and some projects are financed.
Okay.
You have to apply for them and submit the application. But I think in a case of our historic downtown, this could be a wonderful candidate to apply for it. That way, you know, you're preserving that. It would come a lot readily available, and it would be done. It's an option. I'm not on the board. I don't know anyone on the board, but I know of it.
Okay.
I mean, that is another option. And since you have the style of them,
What do you think of that?
I know like down in Northside, there's building the reuse store in Northside. And a lot of people who dismantle or tear down older buildings, they send a lot of the materials there. And I've been there several times, and they do have shutters there. Just the oddity, though, of trying to get a really good one or matching ones.
Well, even the size was unique. I know when you're saying you're surprised by the price, these are 17.5 inches wide, which is wider than what you usually see because the windows are so large,
Yeah.
which also makes them extra special.
I
mean,
can
I
look
s-
back at that old source that I had. If you get me your contact information, I'll get you the name of the company
Sure.
that I used in the past.
Sure. And I have not looked where you're referencing, but I could for sure do that.
Yeah.
The wooden nickel also.
Wooden nickel is another one downtown. They're more on the pricey end, wooden nickel is, but they do have a lot of reuse items that they sell.
Okay.
But yeah, I can give you that information.
Okay.
Let me see if there's anyone in the audience who wishes to address this application before we get too much deeper into our formal action. Anyone in the audience wish to address this application? Mr. Clipson? If you can, would you speak from the microphone so we can all hear you? Yes.
Yes.
You can.
I found the changes on that old building shocking. After occupying it for 40 years, I got used to it. However, it was not my building anymore, so I couldn't lie awake worrying about it. I look forward for the chance to help preserve that feeling on the corner of the street there. Back in the days when Mr. Hayer sold groceries out of it and so forth. I heard it proposed that window blinds or shutters might be well to put them on the west or Sharon Road side and not in the end. I would recommend that all two sides
Thank you. Hi, good to see you.
Watch
Thank
your
you.
step on that cord when you go back.
I think so. Like a trifold car.
Yeah, that's the way it's. Is that ours rendering? I don't think so because it is not. Sort of do like that.
Thank you.
Looks like a Jack Howard drawing.
We can share.
Probably did it himself. Addison did it.
No, I mean,
I'm sure he can.
Jack.
I understand. He did it.
Oh, sure, thank you.
Addison did it.
There's a year on that, isn't there?
1859, it says. 1980, that's when we bought it.
Oh, okay.
What you're looking at, views of that building long before I owned it. But over the years, I have replaced about half of the shutters. Let me get the identification of those accessories to the windows. They are blinds, not shutters. What's the difference? A blind has louvers in it that you can be on the inside of the building and see out. But if you're outside the building, you can't very well see in. So that has a privacy aspect. Shutters are built like a door. They have rails and stiles and panels all the way down. They're solid. Sometimes we see shutters on houses where a hole has been punched through one of the panels, like a star shape or a half moon or a tree or something like that. That provided a spy hole for those inside the house without having to swing open the shutter. But these are blinds. And if you order them from the factory, they are called blinds. And they're usually adjustable. A little rod that goes up and down that tilts all the louvers into an alignment. That's the difference between them. Now, blinds are a commonplace accessory in this village. Always have been. The reason for that is that blinds or shutters control the interior environment of the building for the uses. It keeps out the sun's heat in the summertime. It holds the heat in the wintertime and provides light as you want it. They're a flexible piece of environmental control before air conditioning or gas furnaces. That's why they are there. Now, the ones that were on this building, well, I gathered them over the years to replace those that were missing or falling apart, which is a problem with older blinds. If they get kind of loosened up and start to shed pieces and parts, and people don't really know what to do with them to maintain them. But that's neither here nor there. I've seen people buy new ones that look like the old ones and put them up, and they look just fine. If they have the louvers, and sometimes they're a combination of louvers and solid panels in the bottom half. I haven't seen any of those combination ones here in the village, but I'm sure they exist. But back to the environmental aspect of these. They save energy. If I'm waiting for summer to hit this village, and it will hit the south wall of 280 East Sharonville like a blowtorch. We couldn't work in the building without driving the air conditioning equipment full chat and heating the place up anyway. So, and over the years, I have saved or gathered the rare hinges that were used. The hinges have a special design that they will automatically park and full open or full shut. They don't waver around halfway. That keeps the wind from slamming around. Also, another accessory would be an S-shaped piece of iron trim that is used to capture the bottom edge of the blinds to hold it against the building in case of high wind or something like that. Now, I have seen attempts to replace blinds or use them for decoration made out of plastic and a stamped tin, and there's the mistaken notion that blinds or shutters have to be part of the decoration of a building. We go through builders' subdivisions where some are stuck on the walls of a house that has trim that goes back a couple of centuries. They're usually the wrong sign, wrong size, wrong design, but they're there. They put them on there because of the notion that they were decoration. But the real blinds, the real shutters, are a functional aspect of the workability of the building. Down in the basement, I left 2 boxes of original cast iron hinges for replacement as needed. They are worth a fortune to try to gather them from some other wreck or salvage them. But there they were when I turned the key for the last time. I hope they were found. Now, with that in mind, look at the drawing, and you can see the south or Sharon Road elevation as well as the railroad side elevation. Without those on the railroad side, the building would look a little lopsided, a little funny, like it's missing something. My recommendation is that how many windows? 4 on the east side, next to the railroad.
If you don't include the addition.
On the original part.
That'd be 10, Addison.
I'd recommend that they be furnished just like the windows on the Sharon Road side.
I'm not sure.
Are you suggesting that, you would recommend blinds on just the 4 windows in the original brick portion? You mentioned 4 on the east side facing the railroad tracks. Are you suggesting that the owner may forego the windows in the wood frame addition?
You're pointing at the frame addition that's on the back.
Yes.
Those windows there are entirely different than they are on the original building. If we had to, I'd skip those, although I have installed blinds on all sides of that addition.
Mm-hmm.
Not that the ones that face north can do you much good about heating the building, but
Yeah.
anyway, it was a complete job.
Okay, so you would agree that the most important ones are the ones on Sharon Road and the ones here on the 4 on the brick portion?
Now, the second floor on the Sharon Road side looks like a space between 2 of them. Like there's something missing. Well, right behind that is a fireplace, and the chimney used to stick through the roof at that point. You can put it back to it.
Okay, that's interesting.
Oh, yeah, you can see it on the drawing.
Well,
The front door
Oh, here?
is not original.
Oh, I thought he was.
Mr. Filson, I think,
this door on Sharon?
did the building, and he took the old window out, made that a wider door to haul groceries and stuff out of it, which is shown on the old photograph where he's loading the wagon.
Well, the old photograph looked like it had a storefront on the east side, and I thought this was a window. In the old photo, which I think you have, there was a storefront. On a storefront here on the east side, there was a storefront with an awning. And yeah, there was a storefront, store windows here. And I'm not even sure there was a door here.
Either that or a window, because the front access steps were on a raised stone platform right there.
Given away.
Although the window, I think is original, it's a 6/6 window. And it's like one other remaining that was original. These other windows have been replaced probably 60, 70 years ago. They were multi-pane windows, and you know how those are.
Mm-hmm.
After a while,
Mm-hmm.
they leave town.
Yeah. Could, all right.
Well, we're here talking about blinds or shutters, not doors. Let's try to stay focused on that. It seems like we have agreement that the shutters will be replaced. It's just a matter of timing and maybe some of the finer details of materials and so forth.
I think we should only require them on the original brick building.
Okay.
On the street elevations.
Yeah, you want a motion?
Well, let's make sure she's okay with everything we're talking about. That might take a All right, we're starting to move in the direction of a motion, and Mr. Corse was beginning to phrase a motion, but before he did that, I wanted to run it by you first to make sure that we have common ground, and then we'll take it more formal. Bob, what were you thinking?
I think we ought to just require shutters on the original brick structure, the 4 on the east side and the 6 on the south side.
And any on the west side,
No.
the second floor?
I don't think so.
We don't have any pictures of that, I don't think, but
I think that's something that's.
I think the street elevations are the most important.
What's that?
The street elevations, the
She's
walls
agreeing
that
with you.
face a street
Okay, I just can't understand that, Mike. It's really garbled.
are more important than a side or rear elevation.
Yeah, okay. So that'd be 10 sets of shutters instead of the 14 that you thought you needed. And they should be sized to the windows so that if somebody wanted, nobody will, but if somebody wanted to, they could close them. Realistic to the historic nature of them. And it's great that you have all that hardware off the ones that you took down, plus, I guess Addison left you a box of hardware. So, and like I said, I can get you information from the person that I dealt with in the past.
Bob, were you leaning in the direction of a timing element? Give her a year or a half year or something along those lines?
No, I
Good
wasn't.
faith.
Good faith? Just,
Yeah.
that sound reasonable? I mean, that's not a form of motion, but essentially 10 shutters, 10 sets of shutters of the appropriate size and dimensions, trusting that you will act in good faith to have those installed in a reasonable time.
Oh, no.
I don't think so, I'm speaking for.
Some of those
Yeah,
were
yeah.
falling apart anyway.
That's extra work.
Some of those were just a mess, especially, I think this one down here on the front, I remember was like leaning down on a big angle, barely holding on to the building. Yeah, so do you want it as a formal motion then?
Yeah, let's have it in a motion.
Okay. I move that we require shutters on the east and south side of the original structure, the brick structure, not the addition, and that they be sized appropriate to the window sizes. And that they be wood shutters.
Right, you want to incorporate a good faith element that they be installed in a reasonable time frame?
What's reasonable? That's the lawyer talk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and reuse the old hardware.
I mean, we can, if I put that in the motion, then it's like forever. I mean, what's reasonable?
All right, well, that's part of our minutes. I think that if it becomes a problem, we can come back and address the enforcement issue. I trust that it won't be a... Yeah, let's just keep it as it is.
I'm not.
All right, has a motion, is there a second? Second. Anyone in the audience wish to address the motion? Any further discussion, members of the commission? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Well, thank you very much. We wish you luck, and if you would contact David Lumsden, I know you have his contact information. He'll get you in connection with Mr. Kors as far as the other resources that might be helpful to you. All right.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah,
you could
if
give
you
me
do, that's fine. All right, well, that concludes our action items for this evening. Is there anyone else in the audience wishes to address the commission? Members of the commission, any further business to come before us? Any further motions to come before us? Mr. Mayor?
One more.
Okay.
I move we adjourn.
All right, motion, is there a second?
Second.
Second, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, we are
Okay.
adjourned.
Before we leave our chairs, could I ask that everybody do a quick mic check and just speak